Does Caitlin Clark need an enforcer for the Indiana Fever this season? Find out more in just a moment. What's going on, everyone? This is Logan Landers and Jay McLovin here with the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, talking about Caitlin Clark, and more so talking about the fact of Jay. She just keeps getting pushed around, fouled, and just beat up. It feels like every time she steps on the court, just coming back from injury. And Jay, we saw this past week here that she got fouled, she got pushed to the ground. But Jay, this led to the question we're asking here today. I'm going to hear from you, our fans, on our comment section. Do they need like an enforcer, Jay? Do they need to just find someone like a James Johnson, right? Current day NBA league standard, to just go out there who knows Taekwondo or whatever, and that could just, they're there to regulate and to enforce. Jay, do the Fever need that to add some grit and toughness? To say, this is our star player, this is the base of the league. You can't mess with her. You got to go through me. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, here's how I look at that. I look at it a couple of different ways. The first way I look at it is right now, everybody seems to be pushing Caitlin Clark around. It started last year with Angel Reese kind of being a little physical with Caitlin Clark and saying a bunch of things to Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark took the high road, the least passive aggressive road, and just kind of stayed up here about the whole thing. And then it just seems like this year, everybody and their mother seems to be bumping Caitlin Clark all over the place. They have bumped her numerous times, to the point now where at the Connecticut Sun, right, she gets poked in the eye, she gets shoved to the ground. Now, a lot of people go say, well, Caitlin Clark talks a lot of stuff. And I'm using stuff as a clean version of what it really is they're saying. So if you're running your mouth all around the arena, I guess you are going to get kind of wrong, left, right, up. And here's the thing. She doesn't really do anything back, per se. But she got poked in the eye. She kind of looked at the ref as, hey, ref, did you just see? There's no retaliation, per se, on Caitlin Clark. And she gets pushed around and knocked around a lot in these games. If you watch the games, you'll see she gets pushed around, knocked around a lot. Even little incident shoves or whatever, it just gets happen. So you do think two things either need to happen. Either, hey, you're right, they need to get an enforcer to protect her, because eventually, at some point, she's going to start getting hurt, because I don't know if her body can take all the abuse that it takes on a nightly basis. Or B, Caitlin Clark just needs to start sticking up for herself. And Caitlin, maybe it's time you don't take the high road. Maybe it's time you do a little bit of pushback to let these people know that you're not just going to sit around and take it. It's like that bully, Logan. If you keep letting the bully you, it doesn't do anything until you hit him in the nose. And you get one good hit in the nose, and they don't mess with you after that. Caitlin, I'm not saying to go out and hit people in the nose, but I do think you need to toughen up a little bit and start letting these people know that they just cannot push you around anytime. You got to stand up for yourself. And another thing I really hate is the fact that, and I've seen this a couple of times, where you get the ghost foul by Caitlin. I saw it the other day where Caitlin kind of put her hand down a little bit, didn't do nothing, but went to put her hand down a little bit, and the girl just falls down, and they call a foul on Clayton for pushing her down, and Caitlin's like, I didn't even touch her. All I do is pull my hand down. So at some point, it seems like the league is okay with calling ghost fouls on Caitlin, and the league is okay with letting Caitlin get physically beat up. At what point does the Fever say, hey, what do we need to do to protect Caitlin physically, as well as to keep her on the game without getting these ridiculous fouls? Something has to be done. An enforcer, the league stepping in. At the end of the day, Logan, I know this, when her butt was sitting and wasn't playing in games, and I saw that the league viewership went into the toilet. So think about this. If this is the face of your league, WNBA, NBA, higher ups above, whoever that controls the WNBA universe, Caitlin Clark is the face of your league. It is time to stick up and start protecting the face of your league.
Jay, we might have found the answer here. We saw the light at the end of that tunnel, right? We saw in that skirmish they had that there was someone who showed up, and people are giving her this moniker. No one, But I don't think she's officially entered the status yet of being an enforcer, right? Like we see with the Morris twins, or I mentioned James Johnson earlier, right? But or Charles Oakley back in the day. Jay, let me introduce you to Sophie Cunningham, if you haven't heard the name. Sophie, 28 years old, she is 6 foot, 165 pounds, Jay. According to this Wikipedia article, Jay, she achieved a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6. Okay. In addition, in high school, at Rockbridge High School out there in Columbia, Missouri, Jay, she was a kicker on the football team.
Interesting.
And we saw she put her hands on some. Now she wasn't throwing fists, but she grabbed some girls and said, "We don't want this to go any further." Now, look, Jay, we're not saying we need like a Malice at the Palace WNBA edition. We're not calling for that. But I want to give some props, Jay. Sophie Cunningham, you're stepping up. You're saying, look, this is our girl. This is the league. This is the league right here. Let's be honest with you. And I'm stepping up for it, Jay. But why not get some backup, right? You got to have some security for your top star. You got one. Why not get two? Because I guarantee you, Jay, there's not going to be a whole lot of pushing and shoving on the league's top star if there's two enforcers on the court. If you got Sophie, who's got Taekwondo, Jay, and if you get another girl, either in a trade, free agency, draft, Jay, you gotta get some toughness, right?
Yeah.
Because either you mentioned Caitlin Clark, take some boxing lessons in the offseason. That could always happen. You got Sophie, who's got Taekwondo. Let's get some jujitsu, maybe. If there's a free agent out there, go ahead and just put your application into the Fever. But we're getting somewhere, Jay. I think that Sophie Cunningham, she said, "Hey, I'm standing up for my teammate. I'm not afraid to be physical." And she could be the league's next enforcer, Jay. She could be that brick wall in the WNBA that they've been looking for. But we're gonna hear from you, though, our fans. Is Sophie Cunningham the answer for the enforcer for the Fever? Or is there another option out there that we're not aware of? We want to know. Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, or anywhere else. Let us know in our comment section. For Jay McLovin, I've been your host and producer today for the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, Logan Landers. Guys, take it easy.